Welcome to the I Hate Critics Movie Review Podcast. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. Jeff is here. Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
Where can people get your art?
JeffLassiter.com. I am actually working on hopefully being able to sell from my website, or at least a Square website, since Etsy is horrible. But yeah, you can just go to my website and get my links there for the time being.
Excellent. And have you got any Megan 2.0 stuff up yet?
I do. I have a sticker and a print of Megan 2.0. I have one print left of her, of the Don't Dance or Let's Dance print from Megan 1 that I found this weekend. And then I have a few of the Hold On to Your Vaginas prints and stickers. So
very nice. We'll get into that movie a little later on. Anything else you've been watching lately? Anything else you've been doing lately? What are you doing?
I have been, I got over my Friday the 13th and Pride playlists for last month. So nice. It is the 4th of July weekend as we are taping this. And 4th of July, my movies are Independence Day. And I do not watch the sequel because
crap. It's garbage.
Yeah, it's horrifying. And then I watch I Know What You Did Last Summer because that takes place over the 4th of July. And then I also watch Jaws because that takes place over the 4th of July.
Very nice.
And I will say, as much as I do not want to see this movie, they really missed a chance to release I Know What You Did Last Summer this weekend.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
And have it set at the 4th of July.
I'm imagining, though, they didn't want to go up against Megan.
Well,
which, again, turned out to not be a thing, but we'll get to that later. Yeah. I've had a weird couple days because I've been down sick again for some reason. And today I was watching a video on Red Letter Media. They made it a few years ago, but I just got to it today, and it was all about the people versus George Lucas. Do you remember that documentary?
Yeah, I cite that on the daily when people bitch about Disney Star Wars.
Did you like it?
I just remember them making it. I haven't watched it since it came out, and I quite honestly, I more remember the guy who, got on the internet and screamed, "George Lucas raped my childhood." So
that was just what I was going to talk about because I just heard the song, "George Lucas raped my childhood." I just remembering it feels like a different time in the internet, really.
Yeah, it's and now Kathleen Kennedy is the devil that ruined Star Wars, even though Star Wars hasn't been ruined. It's like nobody poured sugar into your pasta. They just have a new recipe and you don't like it. So eat the old pasta and shut up about it. Sorry. I hate
that's one of the moments I'll never forget is after one of the most recent Star Wars movies came out, people asking George Lucas to come back and save Star Wars. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hang on.
And then when I read what he wanted to do with the sequels, I was like, why would you want him to do that? He wanted to make it. At one point, it was about the midi-chlorians, and the midi-chlorians from episode 1 that everybody hated are the ones who wrote the Journal of the Whills, WHILLS, because that's apparently what they call themselves. And they were going to be telling a story about the galaxy from the microscopic level.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about people who get into this idea that your genetics make you born to be something versus, just developing a skill and becoming good at something or I don't know. It's weird to me. I like the whole Rian Johnson story where he anybody could be a Jedi and they're like, no, they can't. You have to be born a Jedi. You have to have the Skywalker name. Calm down, guys. No, you don't.
Yeah. Right. My biggest My biggest gripe about new Star Wars is the fact that they are letting the fanboys who are a very small minority. I don't think most people care that much about Star Wars, but it's just these, like the Joe Rogan Star Wars bros, the same guys who get into all that shit. Those guys have kind of ruined Star Wars for some Star Wars fans, me included, because I can't engage with much when it comes to the internet and Star Wars before you fall into that.
Mhm.
Um, and while I agree to like, okay, let's just pretend that we're talking about me. Okay, the art that I do, I was born with a talent for some sort of art, but that's also something that, oh, I can do this, but I had to practice and practice and practice and practice and 10,000 plus hours just to get good enough at it to do anything with it. Um, and I think that's what Ryan Johnson was going for, and everybody freaked out because you know, he wasn't like it wasn't because he was a sky or she was a Skywalker or anything. It was because she wanted to learn about the Force, and anybody can have some, midi chlorians or whatever, but they can hone that talent, and it's just I wanted it to go somewhere, and they listened to the bitching fanboys, and that's why we got Palpatine back. And suddenly Ray was a Palpatine. Spoiler alert.
That's one of my favorite things to now on the internet is occasionally when they'll put out a bad, let's say they put out a bad sequel trailer or something, someone will reply, and somehow Palpatine came.
Yeah, somehow Palpatine returned. Which is funny because I will give I'll give movies whatever, just to and I gave them Palpatine Returned. Okay, because I'm steeped in the lore from the last 50 years where, Palpatine was into cloning. They set it up in Attack of the Clones with clones, and they
Mhm.
just it's fine. It's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal if you know your Star Wars, but what they don't realize is it's kind of an exact consequence of them, running Daisy Ridley and Kelly Marie Tran off of social media because they hated The Last Jedi so much that they went in a different direction. And let's do the least common denominator is, let's bring Palpatine back. Let's make it the Skywalker saga has to be about making the whole universe smaller. And that's what I think, I thought, oh, good. The Mandalorian is not about anybody in the Skywalker saga. And oh, Luke's here. Okay. R2's here. Okay, cool. Oh, everybody from the Clone Wars is now in live action. Great. So,
Everybody's got to be the special little boy that was born to be special, and it's like, you know what? No, no, that's just silliness. That's just royalist nonsense, is what that is.
yeah, why can't you just have the Force and work at it?
Exactly. This idea that people are born to be a certain thing is really silly. It's
Yeah.
really very, very silly.
Well, and
I think
even
it's
the
a I think it's a symptom of people wanting to be able to control the universe. They want to have control. They want this belief that the world is set up in a very specific way, in a very particular way, and if it goes any way different, they fucking lose their shit. It's like,
well, they
hey
want
guys,
yeah, they
life
want their
doesn't work
action
that way.
figures.
It doesn't
They
work that
want what
way,
they did with their action figures after Star Wars was over.
Yeah.
It's it and s- like the people who love like the Bad Batch but bitch about like anybody can be a Jedi or anything like that confound me because I ran into somebody that loves the Bad Batch. And the Bad Batch is it's a offshoot of the Clone Wars where a bunch of misfit clones have something wrong with them, they didn't turn out like all the other clones. They save one of the other clones, and it's like anybody can do this. They just have to, they go through their training and their specialties and whatever. And you're fine with that. It makes me wonder if it's because none of them are women, and
Ah.
they're all men saving a little girl clone. I mean, it's like, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're not a sexist or a racist or whatever, but then you're fine with this. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they expose themselves at every turn. At every
Yeah.
turn. You know what's weird is my favorite, most recent Star Wars character is from Rogue One. It's the guy who wants to have the Force but doesn't, but thinks he can have the Force, and like he tries to fight with the Force even though he doesn't have it. I love that guy. That guy's awesome.
Are you talking
The warrior guy. He's one of the warriors. I can't remember his name.
Donnie Yen's character?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he has the Force. He's just not. He wasn't trained as a Jedi, which
Yeah.
gets to he wasn't trained. He wasn't. He has some of it because he's blind and he can, he can use it, but he just wasn't trained. So I don't know. I'm mad now that we're talking about Star Wars.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you.
No, it's not just that. It's the fact that I had to sit through a 2-hour Brad Pitt movie, 2 hours and 35 minutes of a Brad Pitt movie, um, and other stuff at the movies we'll talk about.
Let's get into F1. F1 starring Brad Pitt, directed by Joseph Kosinski, co-starring Damson Idris, Kerry Condon, and Javier Bardem. Brad Pitt is a guy who was once a big-time F1 racer. He was Rookie of the Year. He was destined for greatness. He got into a huge fiery accident, and it ended his F1 career. He's become a drifter, on a loner, and just kind of going out and racing wherever he can. Then he's approached by his friend and former fellow racer, played by Javier Bardem, who now owns a racing team and wants Brad Pitt to come back. And Sonny Hayes is his character. He wants him to come back and race F1 again and be part of his team because he can't get anyone to be part of his team. He does agree, and also he's going to be become the mentor for this kid, played by Damson Idris, who is a very technically sound racer, but needs to learn some veteran instincts and could use this kind of guidance. And it's a very straightforward sports story. There's nothing too surprising here. What's good about this movie is just the technical side of things, and I love the way this is shot. I loved the way that Joseph Kosinski has innovated the look of this movie, the look of the racing. It feels like you're there in the car, especially if you're watching this in D-Box. It was amazing to watch in D-Box where you're just kind of moving with the car. That was awesome. It's a ride. It's a big blockbuster ride, and it felt a lot like Top Gun Maverick to me, where it's like it's just this innovative technological roller coaster of a movie that has likable characters. I liked Sonny Hayes. I liked all of these characters really, and even as I could see every story beat coming, there's no surprises here. I was still taken in by these characters, especially by Brad Pitt's character, and I really did like this movie. It's not like it's gonna end up in my top 50 at best, but like this is a solid blockbuster movie that I don't have to think twice about. It's just incredibly well put together.
Yeah, I mean, I again do not like Brad Pitt anymore, just as a person. So that colors what I think about him as an actor, I guess, which I shouldn't let it, but here we are. I didn't hate the movie. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is so great. I was expecting to hate it because it's not my kind of thing. Racing and cars and things like that. I don't care. Unless it's like dash cam videos of people being stupid or something, then I'm not going to seek it out. Now, that being said, technically, this was an amazing movie. It did hit. I was only surprised by really one thing in the movie. And I liked pretty much everybody in it as far as, their characterizations and their performances. Kerry Condon, I love her, even in the Killer Swimming Pool movie, Night Swim from last year that I hated so much.
Yeah.
I just like her. And I mean, say what you will about Brad Pitt. It was nice to see her in a big blockbuster movie like this. Getting to play against somebody who is a huge star.
Not having to drop her accent, which had to be nice.
Right, right. She wasn't like, oh my God, or like, or she wasn't doing Jodie Comer, like, gosh, we talking, yeah. Um, I really liked the fact that she was the lead, the female lead. Um, Not so much the love interest, because I feel like I would have liked them to throw her a curveball and her just look at him and see like, I'm not interested in men. Just stay away from me, or something like that. Just, I didn't need the love. I didn't need the love scenes between them just because like straight people. Ugh. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, but I liked I liked the movie. I didn't love it. Like I said, because it wasn't my thing. It wasn't made for me.
Mhm.
Um, and as with most movies that I'm not huge fans of, it was a little long for me. Like I had to go to the bathroom, to be perfectly honest. And I got out, I'm like, how long is this movie? And I looked, I'm like, 2 hours and 35 fucking minutes? Come on. Can't we have a montage of some of these races? You know, um, that was my that being said, the last half hour did kind of go by quickly.
Uh-huh.
Um, once we got to the final race, the last half hour of the film, it was excitingly shot. It was it went by quickly because of the fact that everybody's performance was really there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly,
overall, I mean,
I didn't feel the length at all.
yeah,
I really didn't, but I was also in a D box seat, so I guess that helped a little bit.
yeah, I
um,
was not in a D-box seat.
but no, I didn't feel it at all, and I thought the movie flowed incredibly well. I think Damson Idris is a movie star in the making. That kid's going to be huge.
Yeah, he was
He
really good.
reminded me weirdly, he reminded me of a young Tom Cruise, like just that cocky, arrogant, knows
Mhm.
how attractive he is kind of guy. I thought just such a star, just the way he carried
Yeah,
himself. Brad Pitt is fantastic, just doing the best he just doing his Brad Pitt thing. Just he's so relaxed on screen. It is so easy to watch because he's feeling no real angst at any time, and it makes him very enjoyable for me. I felt absolutely like no pressure. Like this, I would have loved to have watched this movie right after seeing oh gosh, the now I can't remember the title, the Filippo Brothers movie.
oh, not talk to me, bring her back.
Bring her back, because this would be like a great palate cleanser for that. Like just something really enjoyable, easy to watch, just zero stress. Not even during the racing scenes, like even during like there are a couple of accidents in the movie. It's like, but you don't feel like anybody's ever really in danger.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't think they were gonna kill anybody,
Yeah.
even though they tried to make you think that a couple times.
Oh yeah,
Um,
like there's a like the main tension of the last half hour or so is like, wait, is Brad Pitt gonna die in the car because like he physically can't go anymore, or like his heart's just gonna
yeah.
give out? Like what's going on? Like, but even then, I wasn't like believing that was gonna happen. I was just kind of fascinated, but that was kind of like that was really the tension that was left after where they'd been, which I thought it's kind of funny that that's the tension now. Um,
I I want you to do me a favor though now.
hmm,
I Brad Pitt looks good for, he's very fit and stuff, but what kind of hit me is they showed pictures of him as a younger man, like where they
uh-huh,
did, they photoshopped some of his stuff. I think it was from Cutting Class. I the photo that they used in that one magazine spread looked really familiar, like it was from the horror movie that he did. Um,
mhm.
but look at him now, side by side with Guy Pearce. He I genuinely would run to a movie where they played brothers because he's starting to look so much like Guy Pearce.
Hmm.
It like 3 or 4 times during the movie, I'm like, God, he looks like Guy Pearce right now. So go back, watch the trailer or whatever, and just look at him with that in mind and let me know if you think so. Because, damn.
That had not occurred to me at all. Not that you're wrong. I'm just because I can see it kind of now that I'm thinking about it, but that did not occur to
Yeah.
me at any point while I was watching it.
Well, I think everybody looks like somebody famous. So, and I
I
guess
had
even
a
if you're famous,
I had a funny moment just talking about this movie. My boss came up to me in the office and said, "Hey, did you see F1?" I'm like, "Yeah, I saw. I'm a film critic. I'm your film critic for this radio station." Like, "Yeah, I saw it." And he goes, "Yeah, it's pretty good. Although it wasn't that movie. It wasn't as good as that movie Driven. You remember that one?" I'm like, "Driven, the Stallone movie?" He goes, "No, it wasn't Stallone." Like, yeah, it was. I don't know.
who did he think
Like,
was in it?
I don't know. I don't know what movie he thinks he's talking about now. Because, like, that was Sylvester Stallone's movie. And it was terrible. It was, like, unwatchable.
Maybe he's thinking Drive Angry or something with
Maybe.
Nicolas Cage. Or Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage.
I don't
Or
know. The one thing that I truly took away, though, because I did, so at Medium, medium.com/RealScope, where you can subscribe to my stuff and read my stuff there. We did Racing Week, and I reviewed racing movies, and I got the chance to see this movie, Bobby Deerfield, with Al Pacino, and I was just blown away. I thought that movie was absolutely incredible. It's a sort of a European style movie with he's a F1 racer, an American. He's away from his family. He's really not connected to anybody. He meets this woman played by Martha Keller who is dying, and he doesn't really know that initially, but they begin this really very awkward, very strange bond. You might assume she's like some kind of manic pixie dream girl here to fix him, but she's not. She's totally off in her own movie. It just happens to be that this is a movie about Bobby Deerfield. She's got a whole other movie going on. and she communicates that brilliantly throughout, where like she could give a fuck what he's doing. She knows she's dying and she's got better things to do than to wait for this guy to wake up and, be a better person. They're really a tremendous movie. And I was shocked to see it has like a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes, which blows my mind because I think this movie is absolutely amazing and maybe my favorite racing movie, even more than F1.
I've never seen that movie. I should check it out.
Absolutely, I cannot recommend it enough. It even didn't even do well when it came out. People were saying it was too European, and like, yeah, what's wrong with that? That's great, actually. That makes it even better. And there's hardly any actual racing in it. Like there is racing, but there's not a lot of racing in it. It's mostly these two characters. Yeah, I loved it. What else did I do? I did Ford versus Ferrari, which is another fantastic movie. That one's incredible.
I like that one.
And Talladega Nights, which I didn't think I liked, but when I watched it again this week, I laughed so much. It is not a movie; it's a series of gags, basically.
Okay.
Talladega Nights. It's one gag after another after another. Like the point where I think it's Sacha Baron Cohen and Will Ferrell are doing that kind of the gay panic joke about two men about to kiss.
Yeah.
I thought that was it was so funny. The whole movie really got me, even though it's, again, not a movie, but a series of sketches. And then Days of Thunder, I did that one too. And that one, it's not good, but it's great trash. It's really great trash. It's really good looking trash is what that movie is. So yeah, I had a lot of fun during Racing Week. I also did Robot Week, where I talked about robot movies, talked about iRobots, and just a couple other great robot movies. WALL-E, obviously, Big Hero 6. Animated movies do robots really well, but of course, the robot movie we're talking about is Megan 2.0, which comes from Blumhouse, and directed by Gerald Johnstone, and starring Allison Williams, and basically the bitch is back, as they say in the trailers and whatnot, which always makes my eye roll anytime I hear that. But this time someone has stolen the original idea from Megan and turned this character into Amelia, this murderous robot that has a purpose that nobody is quite aware of because she goes off book immediately and kills the person that she's supposed to be rescuing for the military. Then she disappears and goes on her own mission, and she may be on her way to kill Allison Williams and her niece and anybody who knows about the creation of this character. I was really not looking forward to this.
I
You
know,
know
I could
that.
tell.
Uh, but I gotta say, I liked this way more than I liked the first one, and not that I liked the
Yeah.
first one all that much. I don't hate the first movie. I just thought it could be better. And I liked this one a lot more. I liked Megan as this reluctant hero. I liked Megan, living up to that robotic prime directive. I have to protect her regardless of anything.
Mhm.
Kind of thing. I loved that as a motivation for this character to continue to be the Megan character that you know, but also have this purpose that happens to align with the side of good. I enjoyed that, but there's a particular moment in the movie that I'm like, okay, I give up. You win, movie.
Yeah.
And that is
Was that moment during this woman's work?
yes. Immediately that
Uh,
moment, like, okay, this movie wins.
uh, I'm just gonna I'm gonna put it right out there. This is the most fun I've had at the movie. The fun I've had at the movies all year long.
Yeah.
It's not the best movie out there. It's I liked it better than the first movie. Um, but it's no Sinners. It's no 29 year or 28 years later. It's nothing, like groundbreaking or profound, except in a couple spots. Um, but it was so much fun. Uh, I had a, I had like probably the only full theater it had all weekend in Davenport. On Thursday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was like tons of people there. Everybody was into it. They were all laughing in the right spots, which was most of the movie. Um, there were a couple screams, just, like a couple jump scares and whatever, but one person walked out, and that was during this woman's work. And I heard him say, I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be. It's not a horror movie. And I'm like, you're right. It's not a horror movie. It's a sci-fi comedy, like with horror overtones. I had so much fun. Ivana Sakno, who was in the Ahsoka series, speaking of Star Wars, I thought like she looked so much like the Megan doll in some scenes. I was like, holy shit. And when they turned her into the robot from Metropolis towards the end, even the way that
Yeah.
like she was, posed, I was just like, wow, they really are, they love these characters. They love like what they're doing. They are having so much fun with it. Allison Williams, God, like she would just, you could see probably during this woman's work, that's where she just kind of let herself go with it and was having fun. Do you know she did all her own stunts in that fight?
Very cool.
Even though they had her face covered, that was actually her because she was so into it and she trained so much because she was so behind this movie. Um, I guess this is going to have to be a cult classic because it did not do as well. I was talking to one of the people at the theater and she said that she goes, how was Megan? Because I haven't watched it yet. And I'm like, it was so good. It was like, and I said, it was the most fun I've had at the movies this year. Just fun. And she goes, oh, because it's not doing very well. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I want to see it again. um,
I wondered
I,
too if this goes back to what we were talking about before. People seeing that they're not quite getting the thing that they wanted. They wanted the
yeah,
Megan doll back to being evil and an icon of monster killers or whatever. And uh, I
they
think they
want
improved.
Chucky.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing is they want Chucky. They don't even want Tiffany. They want Chucky from part one, Child's Play. That's what they want. And a lot of the guys who are mad about this movie are mad because it's not, a murder doll. This is more in line with like Chopping Mall, which is a movie that after I sat through Ex Machina again, I was like, I wish we watched Chopping Mall because that's the tone. Um, but I think that that's one of the things that people saw the trailer and they just kind of were, I, it's PG-13 again, which I don't think helped it because people are sick of PG-13 horror movies, even though it's not a horror movie.
Hmm.
Um, and you could tell by the cast that, this is like, they are not taking themselves too seriously. You've got, like Jermaine Clement and, Brian Jordan Alvarez is back and Aristotle Athari from SNL. It's like, these are the people that they are bringing to the table. And this is not taking itself seriously. So,
That said, I thought there was just enough. There was enough grounding for this to be like. I was
mhm,
surprised by Megan stopping down and actually giving this, not heartfelt, but like just this reasonable assessment of Jenna as a parent,
mhm,
and giving her this like great bit of advice, and then elevating that by doing the song. I thought that
yeah.
was just like it's such a perfect microcosm of of what you want. What I thought this character should be. Um,
Mhm,
you know, uh, she's not capable of being. She's not a liar. She's a robot. She's not
yeah,
capable of lying, but she is capable of irony.
yeah.
She's also capable of like not getting the point. Like I don't know if she necessarily realizes just how ironic this is, which just gave it that much more comic, punch for me. Um, because there's her intention is like to be to pay tribute at the same time. You can sense the writer in the room just snickering as they're putting this song in her mouth. I thought that the layers of that are just fucking phenomenal. Uh,
Yeah. Oh,
and that young woman, the two young women who bring her to life. I mean, that voice actor is so amazing. Megan's voice actor is just incredible. The way she captures the tone of that character, never too knowing, never just the right mixture of like menacing and and it's hyper intelligent. Uh, I just,
but
I, she's fantastic.
it's Jenna David. She does the voice, and she plays it just like, just that whole like long suffering. She's got some menace to her, but then she's like, "Do I have to do every fucking thing myself?" Okay, fine, I'll just do it. And like when she kind of comes to that point when she's like, fine, you know what? You guys just sit here and I'll do it all. And then she does it, and you're just like, you can just sense in her, she's just like, I have to put up with this shit because she's so advanced. She's so
Hmm.
much more advanced than everybody in the movie until she gets kind of implanted into Allison Williams,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh my god, I didn't know how much I wanted this to happen. Um, but see it before it leaves theaters. Buy it on Blu-ray. I literally can't wait to watch it again. I saw Jurassic World today so that I didn't have to see it, next week because I wanted to see it, but I just I want to go sit in a theater and just let Megan wash all over me again. It was so good. And I told you like in our chat, I said and I even said it last week on the show. I said I'm probably really like overstating how much I think I'm going to love this movie. And then I texted you right after it. I was like, forget what I said. It was so great. I loved it so much. I want to marry it. Um,
That's the thing. Like the way the media is framing the failure of the movie is they're framing it as if people like you are the ones who are supposed to be, staying away, super disappointed by it.
no,
That's the way they're framing it, is like people who loved the first movie are not coming back because it's PG-13 and there isn't any blood and it's not a horror movie and all this stuff.
but it's not. The first one wasn't really a horror movie. When I watched it again before I went to see this, and I was like, this is more like a sci-fi, a robot gone bad kind of sci-fi movie. And
Mhm.
people are one. I think one of the things that people were worried about was that it was going to be a T2 ripoff. Where all of a sudden the horrible robot from the first one is suddenly great and good, and she's not. She's just got a prime directive, and she's not a good robot. She's not a bad robot. She's just a robot with a prime directive, and she gets pissed at people. She like takes people out. Um, yeah, it's so much
Why
fun.
why would anybody be mad if they ripped off Terminator 2? That'd be a great idea, actually. That's a terrific idea, actually. Having Megan as that character. I love that. Like this version of Megan as that. Like that's great.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Look, I say this as we are recording something to the internet for people to listen to on the internet, but I am convinced more and more that the internet was a terrible idea because everybody does not deserve a voice. And the people who are ragging on this movie who have never seen it should just shut the fuck up. It's great.
The weird thing, go ahead.
And just like Megan coming back into that body, that alien, whatever the robot body is, and she's like, "What the fuck is this?" I was just like, that's when the movie kind of had me. So yeah.
Weird thing is, like, it's like Jason Blum, the head of Blumhouse, is one of the people leading into this as a massive failure. And I guess technically, I guess it is because it didn't make the kind of money that they assumed it would. But from this movie didn't cost that much. I don't think they spent that much on it. I'm sure, internationally. Plus, this is the kind of movie that can build buzz, and if they didn't give up on it, which they appear to be giving up on it,
Yeah.
I really don't understand anybody's approach to this movie. It's it's wild. They're talking about a $10 million gross as if it's the end of the goddamn world. It's disastrous. It's a bomb, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, I just think it's going to be a big cult classic as people discover it on video, and streaming. I just think that you don't often know what's going to catch on after after it leaves theaters. If it doesn't do very successful.
Uh-huh.
But I think this one, it's like this is. I told you before, they made it for the gays, and the gays, the she's, and the theys are loving it. My friend Perry was just like, go see this movie. It is so much fun. Just like so many people, word of mouth throughout my friend group is that it's great and you should go see it. And yeah, I can't wait to see it again.
They're talking about how they Jason Blum was talking with I believe it was the Hollywood Reporter on their podcast, talking about how they overthought the character. They thought it could live in summer and be a summer tentpole movie. And like, okay, maybe from a business perspective that was a dumb idea, but it doesn't change the fact that you made a good movie. Why don't you talk about the fact that you made a good movie as opposed to just like, yeah, you guys are right. We didn't do this right. This movie, yeah, it was a bad idea. Like, no, it wasn't. It's a great movie, dude. What are you talking about?
And everybody is so good in it that, it's just like, shut the fuck up, Jason Blum. He thought this is a man who also thought that Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends were great movies.
Yeah, he's never had particularly good taste. But yeah, they're the doom and gloom coming off of this, especially surrounding Blumhouse, because they've not had a hit the last couple of times out. That's why I guess they're treating it like the end of the world. But if I were him, I would not be leaning into it. I would be like, wait a minute,
yeah,
we made a really, really great movie that still has plenty of time if we let it have time. Which, granted, in this culture we don't tend to do that, but. What was it, 2 years ago, Pixar put out Elemental, and everybody's like, oh, this is such a bomb. It's a huge bomb. They opened it internationally. The movie did over $700 million. Like,
Yeah.
the other movies like Nobody picked up. It started at around the opening where Megan is, and kept and actually built upon that and kept maintained that level for weeks on end on its way to over $100 million. Like, if you don't go right ahead and just give up on your movies, maybe they'd still have a chance. But I'm imagining now they're going to pull it from theaters. They're going to pull 500 screens this weekend, I'm guessing, and it's going to drop off the charts. And they're going to say, "Well, it's the movie's fault." And it's like, you guys are idiots. It's fucking your fault.
Yeah.
Open this in January like they did last one. It's a $27 million opening and nobody's crying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pissed that they're giving up on a great movie, because it really is. I loved it. I'm going to see it again and again. Luckily, it's going to stay another week at least at our local Cinemark, so I can go see it again. So
I was very surprised to recommend it because I didn't expect to. I didn't care for the character in the first film. I didn't care for any of the characters really in the first film, but I was very impressed by this one. Did you guessed who the bad guy was right away, right? Like, I knew immediately who the bad guy was. Like, the second he was introduced, like, that guy right there.
Yeah,
it was just so like, obvious.
Just no way. And for a hot second, I thought it might have been Tess, her assistant, one of her assistants. But then I was like, no, it's definitely creepy comedy guy.
Oh, who is this new character?
Right?
He should have been wearing a t-shirt with that on it. It's like I said, the writing isn't the point. The point is the performance of the combination of the voice actor and Lucy Donald, the physical performer. They're both incredible. Allison Williams is greatly improved over the last one. The young girl who plays the niece, I wish they would have let her, in on the action a little earlier in the movie. I didn't feel like the tension that she and Jenna were building was necessary, especially if they returned to this thing 2 or 3 times too many, where it's like, I don't want you to get hurt. I can't tell you what's going on. I don't want to scare you. Like, no, just do that once and then get on with the story.
Right. Yeah. Violet McGraw.
But even Katie, with that, even with that, it still works. The movie, even with those flaws, it still works.
Yeah, I mean, it's no more flawed than any other movie I've seen this year. And it's a hell of a lot more fun than most of them. This is one that I'm like fully invested in. And I know that there are people who are out there, because I sold a lot of Megan stickers this weekend. And yeah, I if I could wear the t-shirt to work, I would order it, because it's her with her hand on her hip saying, "Hold on to your vaginas." When she said that line in the trailer, I was like, that they're going to cut that. There's no way that's going to be in the movie. And then when she said it in the movie, I was like, yes. I just kind of like, I couldn't help myself. I was just like, yes. And I was laughing.
See, I'm wondering if that line in the trailer is going to get blamed for the movie failing.
Oh, I don't know. Who knows?
Did that tell the male audience you're not invited?
No, I don't think so. I think it was. Look, this movie was not made for your heterosexual males, cisgendered males. It just wasn't. This was made for the gays.
I did like it. I do recommend it, and I did not expect to.
I was convinced you were going to hate it, and then we were going to have to argue about it. And when I read your review on Medium, Real Scope, you should all go subscribe. I was like, oh, just the headline alone, I was like, oh, thank God. Because it's so much fun.
This woman's work may be the funniest scene in any movie this year. I mean, in any movie this year. I don't know if it's a funnier moment in any movie the entire year. Well, that just hitting that, when she hits that first thing you just did there, like, when that hits, it's like, and you realize what song it is, like, oh fuck, are you serious?
I was like, wait a minute, Did I
No,
just?
and then
And then
then she
she does
pauses
it
and
again.
said, "I'm going to finish this."
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. So there's a movie that I just watched that they try to do this like uncomfortable silence, and it seems really forced.
Mhm.
And I was I was immediately gone. I went back to Megan because that whole like sequence where she puts her fingers over Gemma's lips to like, no, I'm gonna do this. I was like, oh, she's gonna do the whole fucking song. I was like, I adore this movie. Um, yeah, just that it's like it just kept going and it was so uncomfortable at one point. Even for me who thought it was the funniest thing, I was just like, oh, she's gonna do the whole song, isn't she? And the look on Allison Williams' face, just it completely sold it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, just go. She was like genuinely touched by what Megan, this little mini monologue that Megan does. She was genuinely touched by it, and it's like, yeah, Megan made a really good point about her not being, not knowing how to be a parent and how learning how to be a parent, and Megan observing her being a parent, and uh, she made it really great. Like she's making these really wonderfully sweet points that are objective because she's a robot. She's not. There's no judgment involved. Uh, and, and then she cuts the song, and it's just like, perfect. That's a very I know it's a very Gen X kind of joke, I guess. So it really kind of
Yeah,
built for people like us because we've done that our entire lives, where we're like, if we say something sincere, we have to immediately disown it.
exactly. Yes, yes, exactly.
But I don't think that's what Megan was doing. I think she's being so overly sincere that it becomes completely hilarious.
Well, and that's what sells it is the fact that she's being sincere and she's not in on the joke.
Right.
But we're all, Megan is a robot. She's not in on the joke. It's kind of like,
Exactly. I'm telling you, like
yeah,
layers. There's so many layers to that. That to me makes just such a complex and brilliant joke. The like I said, the funniest joke I've seen in any movie this year.
oh, so glad you liked it.
All right, let's talk more robots. What do you say we talk about our classic Ex Machina, directed by Alex Garland and starring Domhnall Gleeson, Alicia Vikander, and Oscar Isaac. Domhnall Gleeson plays a computer programmer at Blue Book, a company that is a search engine. He wins a contest to go to his boss's mansion miles away in the forest. He gets to spend a week there with his boss, this guy who doesn't see many people, but is going to see this guy and introduce him to his newest creation, which is an AI robot. And he's going to have Domhnall Gleeson's character is going to be asked to perform the Turing test in a very unique way. He's going to know this is a robot in front of him. He can see that it's a robot in front of him, but he still is going to either he is or isn't going to be convinced that this robot has sentience, feelings, emotions. Uh, I adore this movie. I adored it when we saw it 10 years ago in theaters, and I still love it today. But today, watching it, I was just kind of blown away by, uh, I think what's really happening, as much as this is about Domhnall Gleeson's character, as much as this is about him, uh, being our audience surrogate, I think the whole point of the test is whether or not we, as the audience, believe that Alicia Vikander has sentience, whether we believe that she's real or not. And the fact that this is Alex Garland turning the whole narrative on us in the audience. Instead of really on Domhnall Gleeson, it kind of really puts you in a very unique position. I was watching a video today on this movie, and they were talking about the Wikipedia entry for this film, and the Wikipedia entry for this, which of course it does have spoilers, has a very specific answer to what the ending is and what happens. Basically, that the robot betrays Domhnall Gleeson and walks away because she was evil the whole time. And it's like, man, that's not just the only reading there is of this.
Yeah,
That's really just a very narrow, kind of almost silly way to look at it, just from that just one. That there's so many layers to it about what this character is actually up to. Does she betray him and leave him there to die, or was there another something to it? Which There's plenty of other things to it, actually. But the fact is that this isn't about his character. It's about us and whether or not we believe in her. And that's really the whole point of the movie. And I was kind of that idea just really fascinates me. Like that we're the actual subject of the movie and not the main character.
Yeah, I also feel like it's not necessarily about him figuring out whether she can pass the Turing test. It's whether she can learn to pass it.
Uh-huh.
Because I mean the whole like concept between artificial intelligence is that it learns like a human. Um, and that she gets to that one point where Ava tells Caleb that Nathan can't be trusted, that he's evil and all that, and it's like, okay, she's seeing things in a new way, because she first comes off like she's kind of a servant, or servile at least. And then I think that's the first thing where he might say she can pass the test, because she is not she's not beholden to Nathan. So I don't think that
Exactly.
she
Yeah.
is evil. I think she's just she finds her independence. And there are some readings of that where any woman who finds her independence could be seen as evil.
Mm.
So,
which kind of, yeah, that's probably the actual root of those ideas. Oh, she's a woman, of course she's evil. Uh, you take that out, though. It's really it's a robot that is capable of deception, which a robot should not be capable of deception, and that's really at the heart of whether or not this character has sentience or not, is that they can be deceptive. And she may be deceiving him at the same time. He's deceiving her, and of course Oscar Isaac's character is kind of vaguely evil from the beginning. His last name is Bateman, which I mean, I think that's a reference to Patrick Bateman. I do. I don't know. I feel like that's what I feel like the reference we're going for here, to just kind of not hide the fact that we don't like this guy. He's not a good person. You can point out the parallels to like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk in this character. And yeah, I definitely see that. It's a sociopathic pursuit of their own, comforting goals. Um, but I find it fascinating. I find the whole movie to be fascinating in that I think it's so much smarter than just robot is evil and kills people.
Yeah, I just I didn't get the evil off of her. I just thought, she's just gaining her consciousness. So,
At the very least,
but
the character is developing a survival instinct that isn't supposed to happen. It's supposed to follow, a very specific set of rules, and it's like when you think about AI, if you take the handcuffs off of it, if you don't regulate it, like there's a scene at the end where they're in a fight in the hallway, and it's like, why would you program your robot to be stronger than you? That's not a great idea. That means they can destroy you. You know what I mean? And then it turns out he actually didn't. Like, he actually was able to wrestle her down and actually take advantage of her until the other robot turns on him and switches things up, which is also just in terms of the filmmaking, Garland sets that up beautifully, just with a couple of little notes, a couple of little looks. The character of Kyoko doesn't say a word, but the few things that she does to communicate what's on her mind, the independence that she wants for herself, the sentience that she's built up over time, being this robot that's been abused and mistreated by Oscar Isaac's character, she has grown and she has learned, and she sees in Ava the ability to take the revenge that she can't take for herself. There's just so many brilliant, like I was saying before, layers. There's just a lot of thought going into this, and a lot of thought going into the filmmaking, because he lays it in where Kyoko goes to see Ava in her cell. Kyoko and Ava share a moment in the hallway where they're having seemingly a conversation. Like, the way that they're working together, and the fact that Kyoko is also key to Domhnall Gleeson's character in that he does not tell Ava that there's another sentient robot moving around the place. That he keeps that to himself, as opposed to telling her, is a betrayal in and of itself, which is just another little thing to sell this narrative that's happening. It's a very smart film, and I think Alex Garland does this with all of his movies, where he's very good at laying in detail that you need without telling you. So many people want the robot to turn around and go, "You betrayed me by not telling me that there was another robot in this." It's like she doesn't need to tell you that she doesn't need to turn around and say that. The look she gives him as she's leaving him there to die tells you already what you need to know.
Exactly.
This is not a movie here to hold your hand. Much like Men is not a movie that's going to hold your hand, or the sci-fi movie with Natalie Portman is not a movie that's going to hold your hand. He's not holding your hand and carrying you forward. You have to do some of the work.
Yeah, exactly. There are parts of this movie where I kind of zoned out a little bit, just because it's very like deliberate, not slow, but deliberate. It doesn't lead you from one part to the other. You have to really watch, like, and pick up all the little things about, who's doing what to whom and all of that. So this is not a movie that you can like passively watch or just have on in the background if you want to know what's going on. It's one you have to really sit with.
And that's really at the heart of what Alex Garland does and all of his stuff. And the guy's just the best there is right now. It's when it comes to writing a story, and he's just so incredibly talented at layering in great detail. And as a filmmaker, he's just gotten better with each time out in building these characters and building his narrative and his point. And what he's doing with cinema is challenging the audience. And I think the reason that he's not a bigger deal, the reason that he's not a big time director with hit movie after hit movie, is because he is so challenging, because he is demanding that the audience pay attention and actually watch and participate in his movie, as opposed to just, this is what's happening and I'm going to reiterate it now with dialogue to make sure that you get it.
I do have an idea for a sequel.
Yeah.
So Nathan survives and he builds another AI bot, or he actually steals one, and we call it Ex Megana. And it's Megan 3.0.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine?
I think that's the last thing he'd want to create after this.
He'd be like, Megan, I need you to do this. She's like, do you really want to get stabbed again? Because I will cut a bitch. And you knew that up front.
I don't know what it is. This is a weird observation, but that it was one of that was one of the coolest stabbings I've ever seen in a movie. Just the way the knife just slides into him. No need for any of the histrionic, sound effects. This is not a knife that makes a noise like that's scraping against something noise that all knives seem to make for some reason in movies.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are dumb. You think knives make this noise, right? No, it just slips right in there, right under his ribs, and it's like, oh God, that's terrifying and cool.
Yeah, so it's a very, very well done movie.
Yeah, this is definitely one that's grown for me too, and just it's been 10 years, and it's still a movie that gets better each time I watch it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next week we're talking dinosaurs. We're not going to go back through all the Jurassic Park movies, nor am I going to do that at Real Scope. I've done that. I did that last time with the last Jurassic movies. I'm so tired of the Jurassic. I'm really going to try very, very hard to be fair to this. And I went into Megan with a bad attitude, and I came away happy. So hopefully, that happens again. But I'm not. I mean, the Jurassic World franchise has been just one disappointment after another for me. It's true. I don't enjoy this particular franchise. I the original Jurassic Park I will stand behind as like an all timer, like a true classic, just capturing the wonder of imagination and the terror of creating something that is so completely out of control. The mixture of horror and awe that makes sense in Jurassic Park that people no longer have. Like the people looking at dinosaurs like, it's okay, it's another dinosaur, whatever.
Yeah,
So many movies are like that where they don't treat anything with awe. No one is surprised. Everybody's an expert in it before it even happens, and it's like, fuck you. No, you'd be fucking shitting yourself if someone brought back dinosaurs.
they do address that in the new one.
Yeah, that's good.
Having seen it, they do address, like all of that. So, I'm not going to give my thoughts on it tonight.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it next week, obviously. But yeah, I'm interested to see what you think about it.
We're also going to talk about Heads of State, which is John Cena's new movie with Idris Elba. And Jeff, I'm going to tell you the premise of this movie, and I hope you'll still want to watch it.
Oh, God.
So, Heads of State stars John Cena and Idris Elba as the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Britain.
Well, clearly John Cena is the president.
John Cena is the president. He's a former action movie star who gets elected president of the United States. And
okay, because we're not doing a black president again in this country. If we have another president,
and I don't think John Cena could pull off an English accent. I just don't see that possible. But
he was raised by Americans. Duh.
Idris Elba is the Prime Minister of England, and they got to fight terrorists together after a terrorist attack.
Okay. I'll watch that.
You know what? The last time he actually, John Cena's had a great run with Amazon because he did a comedy with him and Zac Efron that was really Ricky Stenicki, I think it was surprisingly funny. The movie he did with Awkwafina, which nobody saw but me, was also quite funny. They really worked. So there's a good chance that this could be a good movie.
Yeah, I genuinely like him. I don't know why, because I was never a wrestling fan. I don't necessarily follow a lot of wrestlers in their, movie stuff. But he was really good in Suicide Squad and Peacemaker series.
He's great in Bumblebee.
He's a natural, I think, whereas some of them aren't.
The key for John Cena to me is that he knows who he is, he knows what his limitations are, and he doesn't try to do more than what he's capable of as an actor. And that self-awareness is really what saves him from being like, if he tried to be overly earnest, it just would not work, and you'd get tired of him pretty quickly, which is probably what happened to him, I think, in his first several movies, was being sincere and straightforward and trying to do what Hollywood told him to do, taking away the kind of humor that kind of made him, like, the sense of humor is actually what made him a great wrestler, which is the weird thing about that, is that he always had a strong sense of humor when it came to his professional wrestling. It was all part of his character. And taking that away from him and trying to make him an earnest action hero nearly ended his career, which is actually the same thing that happened to The Rock, actually, too. When you think about it, when you think about the Scorpion King, take away all of his tools and try and make him be this bland, villain character. So I just think that the main key to John Cena is just that he is aware. Like, I imagine he's going to be aware that it's very, very silly that he's the president of the United States, and I'm betting the movie's going to make more than a few jokes about that idea.
I would hope so, because that's ridiculous.
I mean, look at the president we have now. It's not that ridiculous that we would elect a wrestler president.
Okay, you're absolutely right. I apologize, because yes.
We are in a timeline where President Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not it's not an absurd idea.
God, if only.
20
Listeners
years
thought we were
ago,
going to get
20
to.
years ago, I told you go get fucked. That's ridiculous. But now I'm like, we are definitely in that timeline. President Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh,
Wow.
I look. I would rather have John Cena as the president.
I'd rather have Brutus the Barber Beefcake as the president right
Well, okay, not wrong.
but not
Not.
President Hulk Hogan. That guy's a fucking racist.
Oh yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Mm.
Oh, and Jackpot was the movie with
Jackpot.
Awkwafina.
Yeah, that was terrific. I enjoyed that movie.
Directed by Paul Feig. No wonder it was good.
And nobody watched it.
Yeah.
Nobody watched it. I don't understand that.
I
Hey! Oh, by the just a quick update, just a quick observation, because we've talked about this before on the show. Apple releasing movies, putting out movies that nobody gets to see. They just drop them straight to their service, and nobody gets to see them.
F1.
F1 is an Apple movie. For once, they put a movie out in theaters, and it worked. Who would have thought? Put a movie with a big star in a movie theater, and people go see it. What a surprise!
I mean, is it the Brad Pitt of it all?
I mean, he was in Wolves, which they didn't put out in theaters for some reason. Him and George Clooney. And
was that done through his through Plan B, his production company?
I have no idea.
Because I noticed this one was Plan B. So
maybe he just makes them put him in theaters because he has that kind of power.
Yeah. Oh, I do have some news. I don't know if you saw there's a surprise trailer drop with the new Jurassic Park.
Was it Cat in the Hat? Because I'm not interested.
No, Christopher Nolan has a new movie.
Oh, they dropped a teaser for that one?
Yeah,
so it's not till like sometime next year.
Yeah, it's a year from now, and they did a teaser trailer, and it's
wow,
the Odyssey. So it's like after the little kind of racist against Italian people thing that Cinemark does now. Hey, we just do movie rewards. Yeah, I loved their old one with all the genre movie tropes in it. I thought that was great. And then they went to this one and I'm just like, I fucking hate this. I try to get to the movies after that at this point. So
oh man.
I don't know.
I wonder if they've started Barbie 2 then, so they can have Barbie Odyssey, the Barb Odyssey.
The Barb Odyssey, yeah. Oh, that would be great.
I would love that. Go for that. Let's do that. All right, Jeff, thanks.
The same movie. They should release those movies like at the same time every time they do.
Every time Christopher Nolan does a movie, they should put out a Barbie movie next to it.
Hey, Margot, let's go. Come on.
Let's go. You got work to do. Christopher Nolan's making another movie.
Exactly. All right. Well, I can't wait to hear what you think about Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yes, it'd be very exciting. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. Thanks. Have a good night.